Hey y'all, Rob the American here, and welcome to Tales of Manchester and of Watches. Now today, y'all, I'm coming to you from Austin, Texas, but in Geneva, Switzerland, Watches and Wonders is taking place. And that is where the watch companies all announce their new releases. And the internet is blowing up, y'all. And people are giving their opinions right and left about all the new watches. And I don't want to get left behind. So we are going to take a look at the good, the bad, and the very ugly. Let's get started. Now, keep in mind that this is not an exhaustive list of all the watches that have been announced at Watches and Wonders. Many of the brands have brought out debuted watches there. I'm just picking 6 or 7 makes and a few from each make that have garnered attention, good, bad, and otherwise. All right, so let's get started with the king of the hill, Rolex. All right, let's start off with a couple that I really like. Now, they have a new GMT that's with the black dial and a black and gray bezel. It's really, the whole thing is dark, so you really have to look for the contrast there. But I'm hearing all kinds of nicknames for it and everything, but I think it should be called the Green Arrow. I mean, that's a perfect name. I mean, have a look at it. And you can get it either on Oyster bracelet or on Jubilee, and I'm a big sucker for the Jubilee bracelet. I think that's the best version of this. But again, it's not showy, but I can't wait to see it in person and try it on. But I think this is a winner. All right, now some of y'all may be aware that I just recently did a video about watches that I'm obsessed with, and one of the watch that I am obsessed with is the Rolex 1908. And the version that I love is the white dial with the yellow gold case. I think it's spectacular. So Rolex has just released a new version of that, and it's in platinum. It's in platinum with a blue, like a light blue, crystal blue, guilloche sort of pattern. That a friend of mine described as he thinks that Rolex got the pattern from using a spirograph. And well, y'all can decide what you think of that, but I think it's a fascinating looking watch. My only reservation is the strap that it comes with. Now you can get it in a black or brown alligator leather strap, which works to me on the white dial version, but on this I don't think it does it justice at all. I think a suede, like a light gray suede or a light blue suede, something a little less formal, would take this watch to a whole nother level. But I can't wait to get my paws on it and try it on. All right, y'all also know that I've done a video on the DayDate, which is one of my favorite watches, the DayDate 40. I love the yellow gold with the silver dial that y'all have seen from me. I think it's spectacular with those Roman numerals. Anyway, now the DayDate family has stayed the same, but they've got some new dials. And on the DayDate 40, they have what Rolex calls ombre dials. And have a look. These are ones where they're lighter in the middle and get darker as it gets away from the center of the dial. I think that's very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, what I really like is the DayDate 36, and the reason I like that is they've taken the Roman numeral pattern from the 40 and added it to the 36. Before, the 36 had straight up Roman numerals all the way around that looked, to me, did not look great. They looked all scrunched up in there, but they've done a deconstructed Roman numeral where it's every other number, and I think that looks so much better. It matches the 40, so I think that's a potential winner. So if you like your DayDate a bit smaller, that's the way to go. All right, now we're going from the good to the bad and the very ugly. Y'all decide. I'm giving my opinion. This is how I feel. Now they have a new Deep Sea that is solid yellow gold with a blue dial. To me, it looks like the solid yellow gold Submariner with the blue dial that has eaten too much and gained too much weight. It is chunky. I mean, and I'm sure it's going to be heavy chunky. It needs to look like it needs to go on the diet. I'm not a fan. This This is a gold brick. Now, if you want to wear a gold brick on your wrist, I guess go for it, but I'm not a fan. And finally, the worst of the worst is a watch that I love, and that's the Daytona. There's so many great Daytonas on the Oyster Flex and on the Oyster bracelet. I think that so many of them are iconic, and yet these new ones with these diamond bezels and these very strange dials, hideous. These are, oh my God, they are foul, foul. To me, they lose the spirit of the Daytona itself. I mean, what's the purpose of a Daytona? And these are, wow, that it looks, one of them looks like it's brown paneling, like from the 1970s. And I don't look back on that fondly, and I'm old enough to remember those days. And believe me, y'all, Daytona, Rolex, get it together. Come on, y'all do better. All right, y'all, let's shift gears to Tudor. Now, I'm sure most of you know that Tudor is owned by Rolex. It's their lower price point, but not lower quality watch brand. The first one I wanted to mention was the Tudor Black Bay, and it's an all black version with a black bezel and black dial. And again, very basic, but for some reason I like it. I think it looks very good. The Black Bay is usually a little bit big for my wrist, but I look forward to trying that on. And the other one is a new, what has already been being dubbed as the new Black Bay 58 Coke. And the reason it's called Coke is the red and black bezel. The Rolex used to have a GMT that they called Coke, and that doesn't exist. And this is the Tudor version of that. I think it looks good. The size I think is gonna be great. Again, I can't wait to try it on. So Tudor's got two potential great watches. Now, last year, y'all might remember that they debuted the Black Bay 54, which ended up in my collection, which I love. And so we'll just have to try these new ones out. All right, guys, this breaks my heart. Well, because we said the good, the bad, and the very ugly. Well, Patek Phillippe, they are, to me, they are out this year. Out. Now, the reason isn't so much the watches, although I'm not too crazy about these debuts, but it's their choice of straps. Puzzles me to no end. There are two watches that they've debuted, both with this blue jean denim strap. I saw that and I thought you must be kidding. Who at Paddock thought it was a good idea to use a Levi's style strap? And the new Nautilus, man, in addition to that blue jean strap, all the extra buttons and the geometric shapes to it, everything, it just looks stupid. And for that price, give me a break. All right, guys, let's shift gears to one of my usual favorites, which is Grand Seiko. I own two Grand Seikos. As a rule, I really like them. I find them very appealing. But this year, oh man, it just an overall disappointment. I mean, there was nothing particularly fresh. It just seemed like retreads of some of their classics. They've got this new green dial, and this last year they've had a couple of green dials already. I thought were not even that interesting. There was a Watches of Switzerland green dial that was lame, and this one, to me, although it has a different pattern and stuff, I think it just sits there. But the really bad one is this red monstrosity. That thing is a whopper, and it looks like they went into the Grand Seiko parts bin and just slapped everything they could on this watch. And to top it all off, those two hands, to me, they don't match at all. It's like the seconds hand and the hour hand came from two separate watches, and they slapped those on there. That's another disappointment. Next year, guys, come on, get it together. All right. Well, it seems like I'm being so negative, and I honestly don't mean to be. It's it's just the way it's happened. So I'm switching gears to IWC. Now y'all know, again, one of my watch obsessions this year was one of the debuts from last year's Watches and Wonders, and that's the IWC Engineer. It's one of my favorites. I love everything about it except for the price, but I love everything about it. I think that was a Grand Slam home run by IWC. But this year, not so much. They have the new Portuguesers, which is a part of their watch family. Now, these watches, I think once you see it, you can't unsee it. And they have what I will affectionately refer to as googly eyes. Now, y'all tell me when you look at these that all of these new Portuguesers, they have googly eyes. That's really not what I want in a high-end watch. So anyway, so IWC, you're out for me this year. I'm still living on your past glory of the Engineer, though, so I'm not giving a hope on y'all. And finally, y'all, the biggest surprise to me from Watches and Wonders is a brand that I've never really considered before, and shame on me. And y'all will be surprised, but this is my absolute favorite of Watches and Wonders 24, and that's a new family of watches by the company Raymond Wild. That's WEIL, and they are kind of a lower end luxury watch, and I didn't even know anything about them really. I've seen them in some of the stores and stuff, but I've never considered them, and that's about to change 100%. And the reason is they have a new family of watches, that moon phase watches. There's two. There's a blue dial and a whitish silvery dial. And let me tell you, I saw those, and me and my watch friends, we all thought, wow, these are something special. Now, my favorite on the pictures is this blue dial with this gold case. And what I found is, I was thinking, how do they keep the price? Their prices are not, they usually run around 1,000 pounds, 2,000 pounds, somewhere in that. And the gold case, what I found out, it's gold plated, and that's how they keep the price down. You wouldn't know that by looking at it. It looks spectacular, both of these watches, and I think they're not out. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be released to the public until the fall. So I'm definitely going to be first in line to try and have a look at those. And to me, the Raymond Wild Moonphase watches are the stars of Watches and Wonders 2024. All right, y'all, that's it for me today about Watches and Wonders 2024. Keep in mind that obviously there are many brands and models that I haven't mentioned, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in person once they get released to the dealers, including the ones I did talk about. And listen, maybe once they're in front of me, I'll reconsider and be the first to admit that I got it wrong. And if you agree or disagree with something I've said, by all means, leave a comment down below. But remember, be merciful. I'm one small guy. And if you enjoyed this channel, be sure and give it a like and subscribe. And join me next time for another discussion about watches. Y'all take care.